Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Griffin.
Here.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Hairston. Harsh. House Jones. Jones. Casey. Kelly. Moorer. McCormack. Polensik. Santana. Slife. Spencer. Starr. You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Will everyone rise for a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll make the following statement. This meeting of Cleveland City Council is a lawful meeting. Under Section 605.04 of the Codified Ordinances, no person with purpose to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting shall do any act which obstructs or interferes with the due conduct of such meeting. Members of the public are invited to speak only under the rules set by this council. Disruptions, including but not limited to speaking out of turn and making loud noises and loud utterances, are in violation of the rules and interfere with the due conduct of this lawful meeting. Such disruptions may constitute a misdemeanor and a violation of Section 605.04. Anyone who disrupts this lawful meeting in violation of the codified ordinances commits misdemeanors and is subject to prosecution. The following is the first and only warning. If this meeting is disrupted, I will gavel a halt to the proceedings and direct the assembled officers to escort any person participating in the disruption out of the chamber. Once persons participating in the disruption are outside of the chambers, the officers will close the doors and the disruptors will be handled as directed by the Director of Public Safety. The council proceedings will not begin again until those that participated in the disruption have left the chamber and the chamber doors are closed. Disruptors will not be allowed back in the chamber after the meeting resumes. Again, this is the first and only warning. Madam Clerk, dispense with the journal.
By Councilmember Moore, that the reading of the minutes of the last meeting be dispensed with the journal approved. Seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. We'll move to public comment. Please, all of this, Council, would you turn around to acknowledge the speakers? And I want to make sure that the speakers know that you have 3 minutes. When you see the yellow light, that means to wrap it up. And when you see the red light, that means that it's a hard stop. First, we have Stephen Katanovich from Ward 7, wrongly banned from Galleria Erie View Tower, and he is not representing anyone, not being paid by anyone.
Okay. I have to remind you of my wrongful ban at the Galleria Erie View Tower. 9 years ago, Galleria security told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. Once again, 9 years ago, Galleria security told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. Why was I banned? I was wrongly accused of doing something. 2 security guards wrongly accused me of masturbating in the restroom, something I did not do. Once again, 2 security guards wrongly accused me of masturbating in the restroom, something I did not do. James Kassoff is the current owner of the Erie View Tower, and I'm sending monthly letters to James Kassoff. Once again, 9 years ago, Galleria security told me that I was banned for life from entering the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. I was wrongly accused of masturbating in the restroom. This blacklist cancer cell might spread. Just recently, I found out that much of the East 55th Marina is going to be renamed after the Galleria and Parker Hannafin Corporation. I just found out that much of the East 55th Marina is going to be renamed renamed after the Galleria and Parker Hannafin Corporation. Can you imagine me being banned from the East 55th Marina? I emailed a sad note of despair to Parker Hannafin Corporation, and I also emailed a sad note of despair to the Cleveland Metro Parks office. Don't worry about me. I'm doing fine now. If I have any further problems, I'll call the 988 hotline. Once again, I'll call 988 if I have any further problems. Any corporation that is blacklist hungry should not receive contracts with the city of Cleveland. Once again, any corporation that is blacklist hungry should not receive contracts with the city of Cleveland. Keep these jerks out of here. Don't forget what I said about my wrongful ban at the Galleria Erie View Tower YMCA complex. I was wrongly accused of masturbating in the restroom. I am 50 years old. I am sober. I rarely drink alcohol. My name is Stephen Katanovic. Again, my name is Stephen Katanovic.
Thank you. Next, we have Adam Bresnahan from Ward 11. He is here to talk the topic of West Boulevard, Madison Avenue, not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Stephen, you have the floor.
Hi, my name is Adam Bresnahan. I live in Ward 11. I'm asking you today to not allow the construction of a gas station at the northeast corner of West Boulevard and Madison Avenue, whether it be by letting the zoning board's decision stand or by voting against legislation to overturn that decision. A few of my neighbors spoke against this project last week. Others have submitted comments online. As you know, the lot is right next to the Marion C. Seltzer Elementary School, the Cadell Commons Park and Rec Center, and is part of a pedestrian or retail overlay zone to promote walkable districts. A gas station would destroy this. Children are walking around here. So now I'd like to respond to a couple of arguments that Councilmember Kelly made in recent comments in support of the project to Axios journalist Sam Allard. First, Mr. Kelly stated that people, quote, people in my ward are in their 60s and they drive cars. They're not getting on their bikes with their babushkas, end quote. While there may be people in the ward who are in their 60s, the city's own census data shows that the median age in the ward is about 32. Moreover, as I noted, the people who spend time in this particular area, whether they live in the ward or not, are children. Second, Mr. Kelly stated that most of the opposition to the project was coming from neighboring Ward 15. In fact, I wrote Mr. Kelly stating my opposition to the project in July, but unfortunately I did not receive a response. Our neighbors in the ward have spoken out against it since then. Moreover, after I spoke about pedestrian safety here at the council a few months ago, Mr. Kelly had his aide call me to reassure me that my council member is concerned about pedestrian safety. I greatly appreciate the call. In my comment, in fact, I identified this exact stretch of West Boulevard as being especially dangerous for pedestrians. Now, my council member is trying to get rid of a pedestrian safety zone. These two positions are irreconcilable. Either you're for pedestrian safety or you're for a pedestrian safety zone, or the opposite, but they can't be reconciled. And if I can digress, you know, this kind of stuff where people hear one thing, somebody says one thing, and then they do another, this is one of the reasons that people get disengaged from politics. I've been trying to get people to register to vote for the upcoming election. So many people tell me, oh, I'm not voting, you know, they don't care about me, the system doesn't work, et cetera, and that's why, you know, forget it, I'm not voting. And it's this kind of stuff. So it's not just a gas station, you know, in Cadell and Cleveland. It's a bigger issue here. So please listen to the residents of Ward 11. Think about the safety of the kids who spend time in Cadell Park and in elementary school, whether they live in the ward or not. Really, this neighborhood does not need a gas station. What it really needs is a grocery store. So please vote against the construction of a gas station at the corner of West and Madison. Our great city of Cleveland can do a lot better than this. Thanks.
Next, we have Juan C. Collado Diaz. He's from Ward 11. He's here to talk about Ward 11 problems and solutions. He's not representing anyone, not being paid by anyone.
Thank you, Council President. As you all know, my name is Juan, and I want to start by saying that in no way, shape, or form I believe then a gas station will hurt a neighborhood in any way. I do support my constituents back here, and I support the environmentalist work we have done, but I also support the feeling of a building that has been abandoned before it becomes a blight property. I have lived in 3 wards in my entire life in Cleveland. I lived in Ward 17, 11, and 12. Love all 3 of my council people, great working council persons. I surveyed 173 members of each one of those wards in the past week. 86 from Ward 17, 50 from Ward 11, and 37 from Ward 12. I asked the following question. Does your neighborhood have gas stations, and do you feel unsafe because of those gas stations? Most of them reply, yes, they do have gas stations. No, it doesn't cause any problems in their neighborhood. I also checked with many of the other residents, and I asked other questions, but also took it upon myself to drive around these wards. When I asked which ward do you feel the safest on, they reply Ward 17, which says then Charlie's life is doing a great job. So I drove around that ward, and I took a look, and it seems that there is plenty of gas stations. I then went by Ward 12, which is run by Councilwoman Rebecca Moore, and I also looked, and it seems like there is many gas stations, but the residents still feel safe. Also took a drive by Ward 11, which is my ward currently, and saw the same thing. So gas stations are not the problem, and the problem is in the neighborhoods, so it's safety. Going over that, I checked and I looked around Ward 11, drove around the area. One of the biggest arguments is that they will be selling alcohol and nicotine. I looked across the street from the Cadell Park and the school, Marian Seltzer, and across the street from Story Church, and the current owner of that corner store does sell alcohol products and nicotine products. And we do not see elementary school students going for it. Lastly, I want to address one of the biggest arguments and the people that are opposing this are having, and it is that the councilman of Ward 11 is accepting bribes, money from the people of the gas station. I have known the councilman for over 3 years right now, and I can tell, and to quote Councilman Polensek, Danny Kelly is one of the most honest people I have met in my life. He is a working man, and I don't believe that he will be ever taking bribes from anybody. And I know that I'm gonna piss off a lot of my constituents back here, but I know that Danny Kelly will never take any bribe money for that. And I'm only talking the truth. For the time I know this man, I was sick one time to tell a story, and he came to my house to bring me like chicken noodle soup and hand it to my girlfriend. For the time I known this man, he's the most honest council person I've met. And living in Ward 11, I've known 2 of the former council people, and one of them never treated me well, and the other one all did was ask for political favors and gerrymander the area. So I asked council to please listen to the people of Ward 11 and not the people of Ward 15 for once in this situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Heather Smith. Heather Smith is from Ward 11. She's opposed to ordinance number 791-2024. She's not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Heather, you have the floor.
Good evening, council members. My name is Heather Smith, and I live in Ward 11. You may recognize my name from recent emails I have sent you. I'm standing before you in opposition of Ordinance 791-2024, which would allow for the override of the pedestrian retail overlay district zoning on the vacant lot at Madison and West Boulevard. In my most recent email on September 3rd, I requested data supporting the alleged community support that Councilmember Danny Kelly claimed he has. 1 day later, I received an automated survey call asking for my opinion. The language used throughout the automated call was leading and slanted in favor of rezoning. Police reports and drug use were mentioned, but there were no mentions of the environmental and health impacts, traffic safety concerns, or the PRO district. In my opinion, the resulting data should not be considered viable and causes me to question the validity of any other data collection activities. The message also did not mention that the rezoning effort has already been denied by 2 of your review boards. This aspect particularly confuses me. Review boards like the Board of Zoning Appeals and the City Planning Commission exist because City Council members, like you all, do not and cannot possibly have the bandwidth to be experts on everything as it pertains to city management. I trust our city planning experts to know what is best for our residents and the current goals of the City of Cleveland, like Vision Zero and 15-minute cities. In fact, the City Planning Commission Safe Routes program lists the intersection at West Boulevard and Madison Avenue in its plan. According to the Vision Zero website, there were 4 accidents at the intersection between 2017 and 2019, resulting in 3 injuries and 1 fatality. The Insurance Institute of Highway Safety reports that pedestrian fatalities have risen 80% since 2009 and is only getting worse as our cars get larger in size. This is particularly poignant right now because on my way here, my friend who was coming to support me got hit by a car and is now in the ER. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want my child crossing through a gas station on their way to elementary school. In my original email on August 22nd, I expressed that there had been much discussion among the Ward 11 and Ward 15 community that Councilmember Kelly's loyalties are misaligned to be fighting for the gas station development, despite community opposition. My email was met with hostile responses by some of those on council, riddled with irrelevant personal opinions of Councilmember Kelly's honor. As a reminder to us all, campaign finance donations are available to the public through the Freedom of Information Act. I encourage anyone listening to follow the money and see how the dots connect, because I certainly have. Council, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kayla Keith. Kayla Keith is from Ward 11. Kayla Keith is here to talk about the 10022 Madison rezoning, and Kayla is not representing anyone, not being paid by anyone. Kayla, you have the floor.
How you doing? Good evening. I am here along with the residents of Ward 11 to endorse and support the proposed gas station and plaza located on Madison and West Boulevard. As I walk and drive up and down Madison, I am heartbroken at the number of boarded up properties, most of which are storefronts. The entire area has not seen any retail development in the last 15 years, and this is prolonged stagnant, has left our neighborhood looking abandoned and neglected. I feel very unsafe with these boarded up properties and try not to venture out at night. And I have a dog and I don't even feel safe. I have a Rottweiler, I don't even feel safe with my dog. I am thankful that the councilmen and developers have taken the initiative to begin revitalizing the neighborhood, and I hope this will be the catalyst to bring our other sustainable projects to our community. This project represents the first step in restoring vitality in our area and attracting new businesses. I encourage Councilman Danny Kelly and the entire council to support this economic development project, and I hope that it begins the beginning of a well-deserved progress our neighborhood needs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Jacob Plumley. Jacob Plumley is from the Denison area. The topic is 10205 Madison, Unit 201, and he is not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Jacob Plumley, if he could take the floor.
Good evening. As a resident of Ward 11, living just a few hundred feet proposed development project at 1022 Madison Avenue, I can no longer stay silent while people who claim to live in this area attempt to dictate what is and isn't proper development for our neighborhood. Our residents of Madison West Boulevard area understand our community's needs better than anyone else. We don't need individuals with special interests who sit on boards of CDCs that don't represent the neighborhood and live 40 blocks away imposing their opinions on us. Last week, I witnessed someone addressing the council as a Cadell area resident, expressing concerns about the safety of children in the neighborhood. However, this person doesn't live in our immediate area. They live near Denison, more than a mile away, which I now live on Denison. Yep. Our neighborhood has virtually no pedestrian traffic. The sidewalks are mostly empty with traffic and picking up during morning and evening rush hours. Outside of that, it's a quiet area. The lack of traffic is exactly why the CVS closed. It wasn't sustainable due to the low activity in the area. Our community has been stagnant for over 15 years, and current zoning and pedestrians overlay district only have worsened the situation. After 13 years, directly have no significant development to show along Madison Avenue. It's time we explore a new direction, just as Councilman Kelly has. The developers alongside Councilman Kelly have been actively engaging in the neighbors who have directly impacted, and the majority of us support this project. I urge the council to support the rezoning for this new development. I also ask my neighbors who are here today to stand and show their support for the redevelopment. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have Samaria Rice. Samaria Rice from Ward 11, proposed gas station at Madison and West Boulevard. She represents the Tamir Rice Foundation and not being paid by anyone. Is Samaria Rice here? Ms. Rice. Mrs. Rice? I do not see Mrs. Rice. We'll go to the next person. The next person is Evalis Cologne, and Evalis Cologne is in Ward 11, here to talk about the West Boulevard, Madison Avenue property. And Evalis is not representing anyone, and she is not being paid by anyone. Evalis, you have the floor.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Evalis Colon, and I'm here as a concerned resident of Madison and West Boulevard area. I'd like to share a snapshot of the current status of Madison Avenue. While there are only a few small mom-and-pop stores, there are no major retail chains along the entire stretch of Madison Avenue. We have no main grocery stores, no banks, no barbershops, no restaurants, no drugstores, no gas stations, no auto parts, no coffee shops, no pizza burgers. What we do have is a collection of vacant and rundown buildings on our current zoning actively discourage development, placing unnecessary obstacles in the way of progress. Why is it a bad idea to encourage to develop a strip center anchored by a major brand retail outlet of major brand gas station? The only reason it would be bad is if we maintain the status of, quote, of a landscape of vacancy and dilapidations. I'm here to ask the council to support the reasoning and redevelopment of 122 Madison Avenue. We are hopeful that this development will be catalyst and encourage more retail growth in the area. Please support our residents along with our councilmen in the effort to revitalize our neighborhood. Thank you for your time and this evening. I also would like to say something in Spanish. So, as a Spanish resident, I would like to say that also, right, we have a big population of Spanish speaking there, and why not have a gas station where we could have food early in the morning. It could be a 24/7 service where we don't have to drive 2 or 3 miles away so that we can have gas, we can get food for our kids in the morning or anytime we want. We can have medicine there. We can get anything we want from there. And I mean, why not? What is it hurting the community? Why do we have a street that has so many vacants? It's nothing there. Dollar General's gone. Restaurants are gone. The two Spanish restaurants we had there are gone. I mean, the CVS is gone. We have all these kids, like they say, we have the school. Why have all these vacant buildings where we could have, the crime can go up? And other things can happen, like why have all these vacant places there where they can be filled with and look better? Why do that street have to be so, it looks so abandoned? And other places like Tremont just got done, Metro just got done. Why do we have to have West Boulevard look like that, like an empty, abandoned, like it's like no one living there? What are we having for our kids? Why do we have to, low income, us, have to be like that? Thank you. You guys have a nice day.
Thank you. The last speaker we have is Stephanie Honeycutt. Stephanie Honeycutt is from Ward 11. Stephanie Honeycutt is here to talk about the West Boulevard, Madison Avenue property. And Stephanie is not being paid by anyone, and Stephanie is not representing anyone. Is Stephanie Honeycutt available? Stephanie, you have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Honeycutt, and I'm here to express my support for the rezoning of 10022 Madison Avenue. I urge this council to stand behind this initiative as well. When the area was rezoned over 13 years ago, it was done under the pretense of preserving a pedestrian retail character. They painted a picture as though Madison Avenue was intended to resemble areas like Crocker Park in its pedestrian retail character, but in reality, this characterization was far from accurate. There never was a thriving pedestrian retail scene here. Excuse me. Inside, this rezoning created unnecessary barriers, stifling from potential for retail development. In the 13 years since, not a single new retail project has taken root in this area. As we look around Madison Avenue, we see only vacant, rundown, and abandoned buildings. A clear sign of how this rezoning has hurt, not helped the community. The question now is, how long must we wait to acknowledge the damage that was done and take steps to reverse it? I would like to extend my gratitude to our Councilman Danny Kelly for taking a proactive stance, unlike others who have remained idle. His commitment to making progress is commendable and deserves our support. I urge this council to back his efforts to revive this area and help bring it into the modern era. Thank you. Like she was saying, it looks like trash over there. We should get buildings in, we should get different like food spots, pizza places, it doesn't matter, gas stations, stuff like that. We look ghetto, you know what I'm saying? Like it should be revived. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. That ends public comment. Madam Clerk, please share communications.
File number 995, 2024, for Director Francis, Department of Port Control, City of Cleveland. Notice of accept the donation of paging system to Cleveland Hopkins International Airport from United Airlines. File number 996, 2024, from Greg Barron, Managing Director of Development, Volker Development, Inc. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Walton Senior Apartments, 52 residential units at 3517 Walton Avenue, Ward 14. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 997, 2024, regarding a new license application at 2123 East 2nd Street, Ward 3. File number 998, 2024, regarding a new license application at 2456 Lakeside Avenue, Ward 7. File number 999, 2024, regarding a transfer of location application at 10510 Park Lane, Ward 9.
Appointments.
File number 992, 2024, from Councilman Joseph T. Jones, Chair of Mayor's Appointments Committee of Cleveland City Council, recommending the appointment of Glenn Shoemate to the Cleveland Cuyahoga County Port Authority Board of Directors to a term ending January 31st, 2026. Without objection, the appointment is approved. File number 993, 2024, from Council President Blaine A. Griffin, recommending the appointment of Councilmember Anthony T. Hairston to the Reinvestment Review Committee pursuant to Section 178.06 of the Ohio Revised Code. Without objection, the appointment is approved. File number 994, 2024, from Council President Blaine A. Griffin, recommending the appointment of Councilmember Chris Harsh to the Reinvestment Review Committee pursuant to Section 178.06 of the Ohio Revised Code. Without objection, the appointment is approved.
Thank you. Are there any condolence resolutions?
Resolutions of condolence by Councilmember Starr for Marie Louise Grant, by Councilmember Casey for Eric Dean Moten, by Councilmember Griffin for Arani Carter, by Councilmember Conwell for Constella Smith.
Are there any other condolence resolutions? And I'd like to hold out two, if I could. One is for Alex Haley, and also one for Frankie Beverly, and then one for Tito Jackson.
Yep. So noted.
Any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, will everyone rise for a moment of silence? Thank you. Congratulatory resolutions.
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Griffin for Carrie Lynn Rentz, by Councilmember Polensek for Sister M. Ruth Ann Auckley on her 70th Jubilee, Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Griffin for Pneuma Life Foundation, by Councilmember Conwell for Julia Yvonne Douglas.
Thank you. There are no presentations. We'll move to first reading. Emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee review.
Ordinance 986, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin, by departmental request, to amend sections 1 and 4 of Ordinance 854, 2024, relating to contracts with MuniCap for professional services to provide financial advisor services on the recently established shore-to-core-to-shore tax increment financing district. Ordinance 987, 2024, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, to amend various sections of Chapter 396 of the Codified Ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, as enacted by Ordinance 2020-A96, relating to notification, environmental abatement, and securing a closed or vacated facilities. Ordinance 988, 2024, by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Community Development to apply for and accept a grant from Living Cities to support an implementation of strategies associated with the Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing Equity Plan initiative. Ordinance 989, 2024, by Councilmembers Moorer, Bishop, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Public Works to enter into one or more agreements with the State of Ohio Department of Transportation to provide general routine maintenance and repair of a portion of State Route I-76 for a period of 1 year. Ordinance 990, 2024, by Councilmembers Conwell, Hairston, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the mayor and the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to sell certain city-owned property no longer needed for the city's public use located on East 105th and Churchill to the NRP Group or its designee for the purposes of residential development. Ordinance 991, 2024, by Councilmember McCormack, to amend Section 514.04 of the Codified Ordinances and Sections 514.01, 02, and 07 enacted by Ordinance 884-10 relating to temporary occupancy permits for streetscape amenities in the public right-of-way and fees for bicycle rack permits.
Thank you. Second reading, emergency ordinances to be passed.
Ordinance 472, 2024, by Councilmember Starr, designating First Hungarian Reformed Stone Church, a.k.a. Second New Hope Baptist Church, as a Cleveland landmark. Ordinance 473, 2024, by Councilmember Gray, designating Second New Hope Baptist Church, former St. Margaret of Hungary Catholic Church, as a Cleveland landmark. Ordinance 806, 2024, as amended, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept funds from the Ohio Department of Public Safety Emergency Management Agency to reimburse Cleveland for costs incurred for eclipse-related events occurring between April 6th through April 9th, 2024. Ordinance 807, 2024, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Safety to apply for and accept a grant from the Ohio Attorney General for the Law Enforcement Diversion Program. Ordinance 820, 2024, as amended, by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing Director of Public Safety to enter into one or more contracts with Case Western Reserve University for data collection and analysis for the Cleveland Police Crisis Intervention Team Co-Responder Program for the Department of Public Safety for a period or periods not to exceed a total of 1 year. Ordinance 827, 2024, by Councilmembers Harsh, Bishop, and Griffin, by departmental request, authorizing the mayor and the Commissioner of Purchases and Supplies to sell certain city-owned property no longer needed for the city's public use located on the northwest corner of Delora Avenue and Fulton Road to civic builders for the purposes of residential development. Ordinance 833, 2024, as amended by Councilmembers Hairston and Griffin by departmental request. Authorizing Director of Building and Housing on behalf of the Office of Sustainability to apply for and accept a sub-grant or sub-award from the University of Cincinnati for the Resilient and Efficient Codes Implementation Grant, otherwise known as the Building Performance Standards Grant. Authorizing the Director to employ one or more professional consultants, computer software developers, or vendors to acquire software licenses and develop software to implement the grant, and to enter into various written standard purchase and requirement contracts needed to implement the grant. Ordinance 835, 2024, as amended by Councilmembers Polensek and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Executive Director of the Community Police Commission to enter into one or more contracts with the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland for grant management services for a period of 1 year with one option to renew for an additional year, exercisable by the Executive Director of the Community Police Commission. Ordinance 956, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Finance to pay monthly fees to ABM Industry Group's DBA ABM parking services for the use of up to 40 parking spaces in its garage attached to 205 St. Clair Avenue for city employees of various departments and council for a term of 1 year with 2 one-year options to renew, exercisable by the Director of Finance.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Moore, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 14 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. On 8/35/2024, 12 yeas, 2 nays. On all others, 14 yeas.
Thank you. Second reading emergency resolutions to be adopted.
Resolution 948, 2024, by Councilmembers Conwell, Griffin, McCormack, Santana, Polensek, Bishop, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Carey, McCormack, Slife, Starr, Spencer, strongly encouraging County Executive Chris Ronayne to implement the Inside Out DAD program in the county jail. Resolution 949, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin, by departmental request, requesting the county fiscal officer to make advances during the year 2025 pursuant to Section 321.34 of the Ohio Revised Code. Resolution 950, 2024, by Councilmember Griffin, by departmental request, accepting the amounts and rates as determined by a Cuyahoga County Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county fiscal officer.
Read the motion to suspend the rules.
By Councilmember Moore, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final passage, seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
Call the roll.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 14 yeas.
Call the roll on passage.
Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Hairston, Harsh, House, Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Polensek, Santana, Slife, Spencer, Starr. 14 yeas.
Thank you. That ends our legislative role. We'll now move to introductions. Any introductions? Any introductions? I would like the folks, CISO and the folks from United Black Fund, if they could please stand. All of the United Black Fund team. Thank you for coming today. Let's give them a round of applause. They're a quiet, small organization. Their work goes unheralded. So I want to thank you guys for stepping in with the grant management with the CPC. Any other introductions? Any other introductions? I know we had former Commissioner Khalid Bahur, but I believe he left, so I did want to acknowledge him. Any other introductions? Seeing no other introductions, are there any announcements? Any announcements? Any announcements? Are there any announcements? Seeing no announcements, miscellaneous. Is there any miscellaneous? Any miscellaneous? Councilman Richard Starr.
Thank you, council members. Thank you, colleagues. Not more than just announcement. I also want to congratulate Ridolph Farm as well as Kim Foreman, Tim Lewis, who was here. They did a great job with the 5th annual Fresh Fest when they had one of your big. They did a great job. Great job. Also, Julian Kahn right here. He was there as well. Just want to thank them for hosting it in Ward 5 at Ridolph Farm. If you have not been to Ridolph Farm, I urge you colleagues to come on over. We got Fish Fry tomorrow, I believe, and Taco Tuesday, rather, at the farm. But they do a great job over in Ridolph, right off Opportunity Corridor, right off of 82nd and Kinsman if you're coming up. Just want to make sure everyone know. Keep up the great work, Tim, you all.
Thank you. Councilman Joseph Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rise. I just wanted to, I didn't get a chance to get to the mic fast enough to introduce one of our active and advocate business owner, Mr. D of Car Wash. Just want to recognize him. He's in the doorway. And then I also want to recognize Brenda Bickerstaff. I rise, Mr. Chairman, and to the mayor of the city of Cleveland. When I inherited my ward back, it was in a real bad place and condition. And of such where we had no development happening in our neighborhood at the time I inherited, no new houses being built, no businesses coming in our community. We were not getting the kind of pavement and infrastructure work that we needed to have over the space and time. In fact, our neighborhood was in a real bad place. And right now, we find ourselves with a neighborhood that's starting to move in the right positive direction. We've added a number of businesses in our community. We're very happy about that. And then I just want to talk about gas stations because it's such a big topic. When I came back to Ward 1, and now being there for 7.5 years, we had 5 gas stations. Of those 5 gas stations, we had to, at the corner of Lee and Harvard, which should be a Shell gas station at the time. The owner was so bad, so horrible. People were getting shot, they were being robbed, and they were being killed at that gas station. And it was to such a degree that you had some of the bums and homeless people and housing people over there urinating and defecating in the open, broad daylight in the public. It was just that bad. And then they would travel over there to the BP gas station right across the street from it. It was horrible. When we built that gas station over 30 years ago, it was the state-of-the-art gas station. It had a sit-down restaurant on the inside, it had a patio on the outside, and in addition to that, it had a his and her bathroom. That's something that you don't see in gas stations today. It's something that's appalling to me as a human being to go to a gas station that's supposed to be a rest place and you can't use the bathroom. And they say you can't use the bathroom because, you know, we have all these problems in the inner city. Here we go as another example of not being a good business steward. And so a number of the gas stations, with the exception of the BP gas station in our neighborhood, was horrible. The products and services were not good. Stale food, dirty and unclean stores. It was bad. And so, Mr. Chairman, when I went to go and talk to some of these gas station owners about cleaning up their gas stations and doing what they need to do to take care of the neighborhood, they didn't do it. They didn't do it because the city didn't have the teeth to go and make them do it. And it was a different day because when Mike White was the mayor of the city of Cleveland and your gas station was out of hand and a sitting councilman got up and told you to do something, it got taken care of. So they didn't have no teeth to go and take care of them and enforce the rules that we already have on the books. And then I go down the street, same thing, not cutting and trimming and keeping their gas station with curb appeal, something that our people deserve to have, Mr. President. And the mayor of the city of Cleveland, we shouldn't have in our city subpar stores. We got a building and housing department. We should beat the hell out of them with that building and housing department because there's enough rules on the books to hold them accountable. And then when I go down to the next gas station on the corner, he opened up whatever time he wanted to open up. I spent $250 out of my pocket to landscape his gas station because it looked so bad over there on the corner of Lee and Miles. I had little old Mrs. Elaine Goldstein of the Harvard Community Service Center and her staff go to the corner of Lee and Harvard, which is now the Race Fuel, and she had to get down there on her hands and knees and do the soil and pull the weeds and put flowers down because the business owner didn't want to do it. And his response is, if you put some flowers there, they ain't gonna do nothing but take it. That's the kind of gas services in our neighborhood and when they started talking about wanting to build a gas station in my neighborhood, I told them, no, we got too many problems with the 5 we already have. And then we have one that's closed down. But then God sent an angel to our neighborhood. His name is Abraham. Stand up, Abraham. He came over here at that corner, Race Field gas station. And everything I asked him to do, he did it. He lighted up the lights. He came in and put new asphalt down. He renovated that funky store. He turned it into a store that our people deserve to have, quality products, services, and goods. And then when we had to deal with the people who were defecating and urinating over there, I said, Mr. Abraham, can you be so kind, sir, to please put a fence there? No problem, Councilman. So he fences it off so we can begin the proposition of stopping all of that mess that was going on right in the middle of our men and our women and our children coming to that gas station, seeing grown men urinating in the middle of the day at the gas station. And then he went and cut off the other side and cleaned it up and fenced it off. That one move cut out all of that nonsense that we were having. And we still had some issues, and we still worked on them. But the one thing I liked most about what he did was he didn't have that riffraff, Mr. President, sitting up in the front of his store, and he wasn't standing by to let it allow it to happen. He was on the phone calling me, and he has another gentleman over here, Mr. Daoud, calling me all the time, buzzing me left and right on my phone. Buzzing me so much on my phone, I said, well, Jesus Christ, he's a constituent and some. But he was for the betterment of the neighborhood. And then now watch this. It gets better. The gas station I told you about, when he opened up at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, he went and bought that gas station. Did the same thing. You can clap. Go ahead and clap. He fixed that gas station up. Thank you, Mr. President. He fixed that gas station up, asphalted it, put new glass on it, everything like that in the whole 9 yards, and then he showed me a video. And when he showed me the video, he said, I just paid $127,000, and these people that came and shot out my windows. I just put $127,000, Councilman, into fixing this up and putting these windows here, and they just shot it out. Now I got to go buy some new windows. So when it comes to a gas station owner, and I can vouch for, I can certainly vouch for this man. And if this man is going to be the one that's going to develop, I'm thinking, I'm not sure, in Mr. Kevin Kelly's ward, then he's a great gas station owner. And the people on Madison is going to be happy when he builds that great gas station because I can vouch for him, and I have never stood up for a gas station in my life, but I can vouch for this one. And so at that being said, Mr. Chairman and Mr. President, I appreciate it. I'm hoping and praying that as you continue to move through your deliberations, God be with you. And for the woman who came and talked about a corrupt councilman, I can speak for Kevin Kelly. He's far from being corrupt. He's my friend, and I'm going to stand with him in any battle that he has.
Thank you. Councilman Michael Polensek.
I'm sure Councilman Jones meant Danny Kelly. Right, that's right. Okay. To Mr. President, my honorable colleagues, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to rise and thank, I don't know if the safety director is here or not. If he is, I want to just thank him and the CPD for the show of display that they did on Saturday at the Waterloo Arts Festival. I know this is my Class A event, and we expect the police always to patrol and protect our Class A events. But we had a wonderful festival on 108 on East 156 and Waterloo Arts Festival, and it was just a family event. When you see elderly folks walking, and you see moms, young moms and dads pushing baby strollers, you know it's a good event. You know it's a peaceful event. It's a family event. And I believe not only did all the volunteers help make it that event, a great turnout on Saturday, but also the show of CPD there in force. And so I wanted to say that, and I want to say thank you for that. I also want to invite all my colleagues, if you're available on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 10:15, for the groundbreaking on East 164th and Grovewood for the Habitat for Humanity 10 new homes they're going to build there. Mr. President, my honorable colleagues, this has been a long process, approximately 2 years in the works, because this is something I've pushed for a long time, modular homes to be constructed in this city. And I had the pleasure to appear in Jenny Spencer's ward on West 83rd for their placement of the new homes and how beneficial it will be to her neighborhood. I know this will be taking place in other sections of the city, but I just want to say this. I want to thank you, Mr. President, and I want to thank my colleagues for supporting the funding for Habitat for Humanity. Without the funding coming out of this body, this would not be happening. So I want to say that. And I hope that we can fund additional homes through Habitat for Humanity, single-family homes, because if we're going to remake our neighborhoods, it's not going to be on high-rise projects and apartment buildings. It's going to be on the construction, once again, as the city was built on, single-family homes. That's what we have to do in our neighborhoods. If we're going to reclaim neighborhoods and we're going to create personal wealth among our residents, as my late dear friend Stephanie Tubbs-Jones would say to me so often when we talk about our neighborhoods, it's about creating personal wealth. What is personal wealth? Being able to own something. Owning a home is personal wealth. So we've got to do everything in our power to support the construction of new homes in our neighborhood. And I want to thank, again, I want to thank the administration. I want to thank the Building and Housing Department, City Planning for finally seeing the light and realizing that this is what we have to do in this city. So again, Mr. Chairman, my colleagues, Thursday at 10:15, hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have any other statements? Seeing no other comments, Madam Clerk, please excuse the absences.
By Councilmember Moore, that the absence of Councilmembers Bishop, House-Jones, and Santana are hereby excused, seconded by Councilmember Kelly.
Thank you. Council is adjourned to the next regular meeting on September the 23rd, 2024.